All right, there we go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Today is Monday, August 12th, 2024, and you are in the Java Cafe this morning. I am glad to be here with you this morning. We have a couple that's going to speak with us from the theme of mindful balance. Full transparency, they had to do a balancing act between last night and this morning. I salute and appreciate them. I put a post up and said earlier that today, parents, this is for you. And I'm actually excited to have them here with us today. In the past 12 hours or so, we've had some exchanges with the team. They're going to come in and tell you about last night, if you will. But I'm encouraging you to tag parents of younger children, to tag parents of children going off to college, to tag parents, just parents, period. This is for you. You're going to hear about some real life situations and how this set of parents handles them, but from a very, very real perspective. And so that's why today we're dedicating this Mental Health Monday to parents. And so I want to get them in so they can go back, do what we need to do, and they can go back to being parents and taking care of their children. And so we'll hear a little bit about what happened last evening with where they're comfortable. But I would like to introduce to some and present to others, Ashley and Cameron. They are both, as I said, parents. They are educators. They are mental health providers. They're a Black woman and a Black queen, and might be a little bit tired. But in all seriousness, first of all, I got to say thank you for, and folks will hear in a few minutes about what happened last evening, but thank you because it just, I read some exchanges between you and the team, and then you were like, listen, we gonna do what we gonna do. And I think the thing that you were able to have foresight and see is the value of an additional sacrifice you all are making this morning.
Right.
I really believe it's important that parents get something out of this today, and what they're going to get is some encouragement, some affirmation that they don't have to always be perfect.
Right.
And I see y'all smiling, so I'm gonna shut up and let both of you introduce yourself. Cameron, Ashley's caught up on here with us, two testosterone holders, so we're gonna let her go first.
Yes.
And say good morning. But Ashley, please greet the folks and say good morning. And I'll try to give you a little bit of Black joy and say end your greeting by saying, giving us one word to describe how you're feeling today.
Okay, I can do that. My name is Ashley Lucas. I am a mental health therapist. I live in Florida, Tampa, Florida. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm an aunt, cousin, all the good things. One word that would describe how I'm feeling: resilient.
Perfect word.
We're going to talk about that in a minute. And that is, I have some very interesting commentary about that word resilient. And so we can put that on the back end, but I understand the context of it.
Okay.
And so Cameron, please introduce yourself as well and your introduction with how you're feeling this morning, sir.
Yes. My name is Cameron Lucas. I am a husband. I am a father. I am an educator. I am a youth coach. I work in this mental health space with my wife, Ashley. We have a practice called That's Crazy. And my one word that I would use to describe today is present.
Now, I'm laughing again, and I know the folks are like, James, you keep talking about what happened last night. I'm laughing, but it was a very serious situation. But me understanding the context of your word and getting a sense of who you are, that's why I'm smiling like that. And so both of you, either one of you, however you want to, please share with us how you had to incorporate your parenting last night with balance of taking care of both of yourselves. I will say there was a part of me that was going to make a producer decision and just be like, y'all can't come on today. I just want y'all to rest. But I appreciate it. And so what happened last evening? And please let us know how your child is doing.
Well, we have a 3-year-old. She's very beautiful, 3-year-old daughter. Her name is London. She has a lot of energy and Yesterday she was crying for a long time, and she's very smart. She could tell you exactly what's going on with her. So she kept complaining about her ear. We had to rush her to the emergency room. One of her tubes, she has tubes in her ears. A lot of parents know about that. One of her tubes had fell out, and that ear that the tube came out of became infected. So she had a pretty bad ear infection. Uh, that turns into a lot of crying, a lot of needing to be underneath you. She didn't want to get the drops in her ears.
Mhm.
She's very strong, so even just trying to administer the medicine, get her to eat, all that good stuff, parents know. It's just been very difficult over the past,
3 days.
really 3 days before we finally figured out, okay, this is something for real, for real. We should go to emergency room.
She has a
And
little infection too. It's like a
she has an active ear infection as well. So on, Cameron, you mentioned that parents know about that. That is tubes in the ears. What is it? The pink medicine, augmentin, the pink medicine
yeah.
for ear infection, or it may have been updated today because I'm going back about 40 years, 50 years. But ear infections are common in children, and I believe that the tube was to keep fluid from building up in the air, but that fell out, and she got the infection. And so, Ashley, you said the last 3 days. What have you all been dealing with as parents? She's 3 years old, able to articulate that she's in pain, but the baby didn't know that her tube fell out. So, in real time, let's talk about how you both handled that crisis with your child being in pain, and you didn't know exactly what was going on.
Well, to be honest, in the beginning, I was just like, she's not a very big eater. So when she stops eating, that's like the first sign she's not feeling well. But it's always hard to tell because she also just isn't a big eater. So at first I was like, okay, let me just test it out and see if it's just the day. So we go on about our day. But by the time yesterday started happening, she was screaming, yelling, my ear. She also is one of the kids that she's a little bit theatric. So,
Right.
so
So
you gotta like. So I
Where
have
did she
to
get that
test
from?
her.
Where did she get that from? Let me just ask.
So
I was going to assume it as the song says, she get it from her mama, but Cameron said, "Oh, that is me."
It's him. Yeah. So I had, you really have to have a lot of patience with her when that starts happening. So I just try to, instead of saying, "Oh, you need me to get up again," I just get up, give her what she wants. Oh, you need a muffin? Or she wants to lay on you extra. Okay, mommy, can you take me to the bathroom? She's 3, she could go to the bathroom by herself, but when she's not feeling well, she starts to be a bit more clingy. And so I have to calm myself down and remind myself, okay, she needs you. Be patient with her. So it just requires a ton of patience. And that's kind of how I handled the crisis is patience. And then what's the solution? Now, I'll let him tell you.
So, Cameron, you back there about the fallout, talk about, woo, how did you handle? Because you say that your baby gets the theatrics from you. You reference to the fact that she was a little clingy, and so you understand that. How did you handle being able to handle your baby and also supporting Ashley as well? Because it's different, dads, we care. I may get in trouble for this a little bit, but moms are different. Moms just got a little bit more. And so
got a little bit more.
How you doing, brother? And how did you handle?
So she get the theatrics from me. So we're basically just going having theatrical exchanges.
Yes.
She getting on my nerves. I'm getting on her nerves. Ashley is in between being so soft. And what do you need? Daddy, can you take me to the bathroom? London, you can go to the bathroom. Why are you asking me to take you to the bathroom?
Wait a minute, Mr. Theatrics? You're asking her from whom she gets it?
Oh man. So we're having theatrical exchanges. I should have picked up on all these signs, but it takes me to see the way Ashley moves differently to then realize, oh, this is our space to move differently because she needs us differently. So it's just I'm the typical black dad, you know what I'm saying? And I'm working on it. I'm working on being softer. I'm working on the what's our word now? Gentle parenting.
Gentle parenting. Okay, so let's I wanted people to understand the appreciation that I had for both of you. And though we're smiling about it today, there's a parent even on Instagram, Tai, who's talking about we've had our share of ear infections, and so parents know about this. I remember seeing my mother go through it, with my sisters and whatnot, and so we wanted to let folks know. How is she doing this morning?
She's doing good.
She's doing better. So the thing about London is she had chronic ear infections for months, and we didn't know, and we kept going, taking her to the doctor over and over again, and they would kind of dismiss us and keep giving her antibiotics. And then eventually I was like, wait a minute, you can't give her another antibiotic. She's a small child. She's starting to get used to them. And we had to like really fight with an ENT doctor and say, you need to see if something's wrong. Even the ENT doctor didn't believe us because she was having them every single month. And when she went to get her adenoids removed, we found out they were covering 95% of her airways. So they took out the adenoids, but they left the tonsils. So on top of the ear infection, anytime she gets an ear infection, her tonsils swell up. She can't breathe. So it's not like a normal, just my ear hurts. Her entire, system is blocked. And so she can't breathe at night, so her mouth is open, and so it's a little bit, and then it's like a viral thing. So they were like, it's not just an ear infection, it's viral, and then she passed it to us. So this morning we were like,
right.
I took some allergy medicine, and I didn't realize it was a sleepy one until I fell asleep. And he's like, "You got to get up. We have to do the podcast." So sorry if I'm a little loopy.
You're good.
Knocked out. She was just knocked out, and I'm just like, okay, let me just let her sleep until the last minute, and we're gonna be all right.
So let me ask you a few things. And I know, Anissa, thank you, as she always does. We have a sort of briefing here of some things to talk about, and we will, about your practice and your business. But I heard something there, and I believe that both of you can speak to this. You got to a specialist. Thank God for that, because sometimes those referrals take forever. And I want folks to understand what you explained about the adenoids, and the sinuses and the tonsils and all that. Ears, nose, and throat is a department that you refer to. And because that system is connected to the respiratory and all play off of each other. Recently had wisdom teeth pulled. The dentist said that they were up so much that I was at risk of messing with the floor of my sinuses. And so that's even a dental perspective. So I need folks to kind of understand from a layman's perspective with what you were dealing. So the adenoids were out. Maybe at 3, I understand. I don't understand at that time, because her adenoids were so big. Why didn't they, while they were in there, come out and say, hey, we just want to update the surgery and say, I think we need to snatch her tonsils.
Right.
Oh, you know why? Because they want to be able to charge again the second time. Come on now, we know why.
So Cameron, let's go there. As you refer to the advocacy you all had to do, you had to tell the doctor that, and let's talk about the fact that you were pumping up a 3-year-old with series of antibiotics, which builds resistance, and then later on in life, what was that experience like? If we could deviate for a second, in needing to advocate, not for you, just yourself, but your child, and that's very different.
As Black parents, go ahead.
Let's go there.
Let's go.
Yeah, it was really frustrating. I try not to be the type of person that thinks about myself in the medical field as deserving the respect, more than anyone else. But it's really frustrating when I'm like, I work in the healthcare industry, so you still receive the same type of biased treatment. And
sometimes that flex is needed for us to get what
somewhere.
We need.
Right.
Sometimes she has to flex out the LCSW in order for somebody to be like, oh, let me tighten up and do this correctly.
Unfortunately.
Your needs should just be the LICSW, the credential of the need.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Y'all
so
it was
very frustrating. The doctor was very dismissive. She was cold when we took our daughter, and she just really didn't believe us. And we kept saying, she'll get the ear infection, and then literally a week later she has another one. So
let me add on real quick. It was really bad because the first couple appointments I just went. So they're already not used to just seeing dad anyways. So just to go as a dad, when I'm explaining all this, They wanted to call Ashley. I'm like, no, she's at work. I'm here for a reason. What I'm telling you is exactly what she's going to tell you in detail. I briefed with my wife, and I know to tell you everything I'm going to tell you because this is the brief that I had with my wife, and she told me to make sure that I relay this information in this manner. But just looking at, I hate to keep saying it, a black dad in this space, they're not used to even seeing a black dad in that space. So they looking at me like I'm crazy and I don't know what I'm talking about.
So, Cameron, let me ask you a little bit in a moment, Ashley, if you don't mind. And I'll come back to you, Ashley, and ask about the advocacy and being on what I call, being on the other side of the desk. And so, Cameron, let me ask you, in the moment, you realized what was going on. You as an individual knew, I perceive you as being aware of systems and structures. How did you handle in the moment that these people weren't entreating you and endearing you as a justified, bona fide parent that also got briefed by Ashley? So, you had a little bit extra there.
A little extra.
How did you handle that in the moment to not get pissed and keep your baby the priority and get everything done?
Well, I think at that point, I would like to shout out my dad. I feel like watching his demeanor as I grew up, he's really good at letting you know that I'm upset with this treatment, but without being disrespectful.
Okay.
With just my demeanor.
Yes.
With my demeanor, I'm going to continue to relay the information. If you ask me something again, I could relay that information in a different tone, in a different way. I will stay respectful, but you're going to understand I'm not going to give you a different story. This is what I'm telling you is happening. This is what I need you to understand. This is my child. I'm fully in her life. I don't understand why you want to call somebody else when I'm fully since day one, A1 since day one I've been here.
They're making some presumptions there, but go ahead because I won't deviate anymore. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's just, I guess you got to just try to stay patient, but be able to insert your demeanor without inserting disrespect.
Insert demeanor without the demon is what I'll say.
There we go. That's it. That's it.
Demeanor without the demon.
Correct words right there.
Listen, because as a parent and whatnot, it is easy to get on what they call demon time. And so, Ashley, to kind of get us, because I really want people to hear about what you all do as a couple and the practice and whatnot. But Ashley, to close us out here, what would you say to parents that are in real time or even right now, they're sitting at home, they may be listening in the background, they're looking at paperwork, they're emailing, trying to set up an appointment, and right now maybe advocating for their child to get into a specialty. What advice would you give? I would say first from your experience in healthcare, and then also from a parent that is advocating and dealing with all the nuances that come with seeing a child, wanting to get them better. You're in the system, so you got a different peer view and understanding it. What you got to say to that? That's a lot there, but I'm convinced you can handle it. And Cameron, feel free to add anything as well.
She gonna buy
I think advocacy from a mental health provider standpoint and just a healthcare provider standpoint in general, I would say to parents, don't give up on your children. Remember why God gave them to you and your role for them. Keep them centered and first. I would say don't take no for an answer, and trust your gut and what you know about your child. I think because I know my kid, and I keep assessment of her. I watch her closely, and I believe her when she's telling me something isn't right. Then I'm able to communicate that to someone else. There's lots of resources out there, so don't be afraid to go and look for them. Sometimes I think as parents, we can become prideful, which not really as much as our fault as it is society, making it feel uncomfortable to say you don't know or to say you don't know how to find. Society makes you feel like you have to be perfect or be the perfect parent, and people are really protective. It's really hard to be vulnerable in this space, but for the sake of your child, I think that's a necessity in order to get the right help around them. So I would tell parents, don't get in the way.
That's
don't get
good.
in the way. Yeah.
Cameron, anything to add there?
I think she pretty much said it, but just to backdoor, resources are out there, but if you don't know, I would be the parent that she's talking about. I didn't know.
Okay.
Well, where are we going to find these? different resources. So by the grace of God, she works in the healthcare field, so she knows these things. But if it was just me, I wouldn't have known those things. So I think just the statement, I know my kid, we've made it cliche in our society, but no, you really do know your kid.
Yeah.
So go off of those hunches, go off of that gut feeling, go off of whatever you know. Oh, this isn't like the normal so and so and so. Like, because you really do know your child, and don't be afraid to explore resources and ask for resources, because they have them, but they're not going to toss them out. You got to ask.
That part right there. We're going to take a quick break and come back. And on the other side of this, I want to talk about you all as a resource that are available there, maybe available for folks across the country if you do virtual. And so I do want to talk about that. We're going to share a quick commercial about health insurance for entrepreneurs and 1099ers that are, still need care, but out here hustling as well. So we're going to share that and come right back with you in just a couple of seconds.
Awesome. Awesome.
For the innovators, the dreamers, the risk takers, independent workers who keep our neighborhoods thriving, Connector Care from the Massachusetts Health Connector has plans for every lifestyle and budget.
Having access to affordable healthcare is for everyone in our community.
Connector Care plans help more people save on healthcare that covers all their needs. Find out if you qualify for Connector Care. Visit mahealthconnector.org or call 1-877-MA-ENROLL.
Hey, everybody. We are back here with Ashley and Cameron, who are parents who move in the mental health space, who, if you did not get to hear, they're in real-time parenting that they experienced last night. Go back and watch the after watch. But we're going to talk now about, at the end of the last segment, we talked about the awareness and availability of resources. That's one of the reasons that this platform exists. And so before we go into that, I want to make sure that I remember to get you guys a link, because last week we had a young lady that is a parent. She has some kind of debilitating, it messes with her energy. And she talked about giving permission to, that time. Sometimes when London may need the extra hug or to go, that sometimes if you don't feel it, if you pass off to Ashley or the other, there's nothing wrong with that. And Ashley, you kind of talked about it, that society has framed parenting that you have to be a complete superhero. And because for some, this is you raising a little human being, and it's the first time. Yeah. And so I just want to affirm the fact that, and this, but it's not just y'all. And so I hope when I get you that episode, it will be helpful, because she's just real and calls out some stuff. And so I want to go now into you all as a resource. And so Cameron, you talked about your practice and you do it together. And I just have to name that the Black love that we're seeing here, because even when you talked about the practice and we do this together, like you put your arm around her and like you just seen that. And so I'm sure that is a definite influencer and help factor of you all being parents and spouse and just living in this society as a Black man and a Black woman. Right. But let's talk about the resource that you all are to community there.
I'm going to hand this off to Ashley first. I want to first say that this is a practice that Ashley established before we met. And I believe God brought us together to grow this thing to where we are now. So, Ashley is a therapist. I am a behavior support teacher. So I work right right in the thick of what most people would avoid and wouldn't want to touch with a 10-foot pole, and so does Ashley. So I want her to first talk about the practice, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Well, I have a mental health private practice. It's called That's Crazy.
So let me ask before the word, because you know there are different words now that we incorporate into these spaces, and so I'm sure you probably had that name before, but how, but it does it. I'm sorry, it does. So go ahead.
Yeah, I started the practice in 2019 before it became popular to play on words.
Yep.
Honestly, when I started the practice, I knew I needed to do something, to your point, that drew in our community. I found myself in a position where I was advocating so much for Black and Brown people in spaces that it didn't feel like I should have to advocate for us for. So it was like, it's mental health and we're concerned about you, but to a certain point, and it pretty much burned me out to the point where I was like, all right, I can't do the agency work anymore. It's one thing to be advocating for young girls and young people that look like me, but it's another thing to work with them and have to fight management at the same time. So it put me in a position that I needed to move. So I said, okay, I'm going to start a private practice. And when I started to think of a name, I couldn't think of anything like deeply loved counseling, or all those names didn't fit my perfect hand. Like, I don't know, I'm being facetious, but none of that fit my personality. So I started thinking, and I was like, what if I just called it That's Crazy? Because I think it's crazy is actually the opposite of what other people think crazy is. I
Yep.
think crazy is to think that it is crazy that you're getting help with mental health. And so it's like a play on it. It's not that I'm making fun, or it's that, no, we use That's Crazy a million times. And to be honest, I talked to some consultants about it and they were like, don't do that. No, big mistake. You'll never get contracts. People are going to be offended. And that kind of fueled me more, because I was like, well, why? Like,
Right.
that's the problem. The problem in my community is that term is causing people discomfort when it shouldn't. And I'll be honest, I went to church that Sunday and my pastor said That's Crazy probably 200 times. And when he did that, it was like my confirmation
Yep.
that was the way to go. And I did. And That's Crazy is more like a movement to redefine what people think of when they think of mental health in our communities. I don't want people to think of just a couch. And that's kind of how it's been perfect to meet Cameron, because he was the first, not the first, but he really, he's the first to like make it active in that way. Because I had ideas, but then he started putting the ideas to foot. And we do individual therapy, group therapy. I work primarily with 16 and up, but I have a few clinicians that work with children. One that specializes in grief, one that specializes mostly in couples, and I do trauma-based work. And yeah, we work. We've done fashion shows, we've done merch lines, we've done grill and chills for men to just come out and talk with men, and play games outside and eat barbecue.
Well, we got to pause on that. Let's not skip through that.
So but more than the pause, Cameron, I want to ask you, and I'll give you a few minutes here. When Ashley came to you, and we didn't even get into how like y'all met and both of y'all are in the clinical space and how that just worked out. Ashley, I caught the little nod about, being with Cameron was perfect, but go to the point you were going to make and then go back a little bit. Ashley came to you, you seen what she was going through at work. How did you handle and help and support and be a part of your spouse's transition into being a helpful social entrepreneur?
Well, that's the perfect question for exactly where I was going to insert. So when we first met, we were dating long distance. It's a crazy story. I don't want to get too deep into it because it'll take a long time to tell it. But
no, we need to, Anissa, if you're watching, make sure we line them up for February. But go ahead.
Basically, I'm in Alabama at the time. She's in Florida. And her sister is my supervisor where I work at Lowe's. and she always brings up Ashley, and I'm just looking at my supervisor like, dude, that ain't it. Like, what if it don't go right? Then I still gotta be supervised by you. You feeling some type of way? Woo, woo, woo. So that's how that's going. Eventually, Ashley shoots me a text because I'm never gonna text her because I just feel like that would be awkward to be talking to my supervisor's sister.
Yep.
She literally shoots the text that says, "Hi, I'm Ashley." I'm just like, okay, girl, what's up? Okay, Ashley, like, what's happening? So that's that. But in that space, she was working on an event for me, a grill and chill, and she asked me, "Did you ask me about a design?" At this time, I'm just in fashion design. I'm not even in the mental health space. I'm just a fashion designer and a creative director. She asked me to help her come up with a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Come up with a t-shirt. This is a very interesting space of my life. I'm in a space where I don't have a cell phone and I am completely off of the grid on purpose because I'm just trying to, I guess, reground myself into a space where I could be me and a healthy me. So I guess in a sense, I am in a mental health space, but just for me,
Yep.
not for others. So at the time, I think I'm at McDonald's or at Starbucks somewhere, and I began to draw the design on a T-shirt. I should have wore that shirt today; it would have been perfect. And I drew a design where I said redefine mental health, but in parentheses I have men for the part of mental.
Yep.
So
Yep.
redefine mental health, and I just put it on a napkin. I take a picture and I send it to her. We're just dating. We're not even in it that deep. She takes the napkin design and goes and makes the shirts for real. So for me, that's the first time that I felt like somebody saw something that I did creative and was like, "Oh no, that's not no little thing, baby. That's a big thing." And I was like, "Oh well, you about to be a big thing in my life now because what? What is you talking about? Like you really just did that? Like that was a spark moment for us. That you just took something that I'm sketching on a napkin. I was gonna throw the napkin. I did throw the napkin away. I took a picture and just threw it away with my food. I probably wasn't even eating no food. Like I was struggling at that time. I was probably just sitting there to be sitting there and use the Wi-Fi. So that was a big moment. She in turn makes the shirts and use them for the men's grill and chill. And it was just that was the start of this is me in the mental health space. This is you, a creative director and a designer. And this is a different way that we can bring this message to our community.
It is. And actually, I got to be, in the last 4.5 years, I've learned to watch. I've always been a people watcher and interpreting body language. And you're just sitting there.
Get on her. That's my man, my man, my man, my man.
Anissa, we got to make sure, and we got to celebrate Black love all the time. But my mind we did a Black love series in February for around Valentine's Day. And so I definitely in 25, y'all got to be a part of that series. And though not married, we can do like an after dark, which is like, this is Monday through Thursday at 9 a.m. I got coffee instead of an espresso martini. So we'll talk about that because listen, don't get me started. You all, a lot of times when people work together, live together, I've seen that implode with some couples. And you all have the ability to be able to spend this time together and still be successful, raise your children, and expand this business. If I could dip into a little for some couples that may be watching, how y'all handling that when there are times where Ashley's like, look, Cam, not today, baby. Or Cam is like, listen, I'm about to go to sit on the Wi-Fi somewhere just to take a break. Like, how do y'all handle that if we can deviate for a couple of couples that may be watching? Look. Did y'all see his arm go? Yo, y'all go ahead.
You want me to go or you want me to go? Because if we gonna be completely honest, that's the hardest space. You gotta really be comfortable with understanding that that's always a season that comes in a cycle. You're not always gonna be liking each other. It ain't always like that. There's always like So we came on to talk first about London's ear infection. But let me tell you, London's ear infection really gave us a break to not be at odds with each other. We was just in the space. The ear infection really saved the space. Like, you know what? Let's forget about that. We need to take care of our child. Like, it gets hard. This really gets hard. You, like you said, we're always together. We do everything together. Like, it's sometimes I'm just looking at Ashley like, Ashley, can I go do something without you, bro? Like, I don't feel like looking at you or London right now. And that's not in a disrespectful way.
Nope.
It's just like, as individuals, there's still moments where you need to do something individually for yourself. It's some moments.
Can I ask a question right there? And sorry to interrupt, but on both sides, but because he said it, I'm going to ask you to respond. Couples have a lot of issues with that.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I'll be honest, when, you know, in some I call them entanglements now because they over, but when I was in them, they was a relationship.
Right.
Understanding the individuality, when I need my space and I just don't want you to be around me, we're part of a partnership, but we're still individuals which actually makes so Ashley, I see you smiling. You ready to contribute? What? How did you handle when he said he needed his individual space? And then you can also talk about how you handle things pre-ear infection. See, look at London and the ear infection. What's the Bible say that the enemy meant for evil?
Right.
Meant for good. God turned it to good. It say today.
I would say that, you know, to be 100% honest, I don't do a good job of promoting it as much as I should. That's just me being, you know, real. I do support him in his individual ideas. Like, I try to be the spouse that when he wants to do something, I go with it. And, you know, like, that's how we got to this space with the, you know, physical fitness and adding it to working out. I'm not the one that was jumping for joy for that, you know. Like, I'm the one that probably needed it more, but that's his lane, that's his area. But when he's like, okay, we're gonna do this, you know, I might not come quickly, but I show up and I come. But and I do support, like he said, you know, I knew he was a designer when I started talking to him. I knew I needed a shirt. To me, that is him individually. That is me. That's me extending my hand like, hey, I support and I see what you do. That's how I know how to say, I value that. And then I run with it, you know? So that's what I do. But as far as like being separated, it's hard these days because we are doing so much together and so much depends on the other person. But I hope I answered the question.
You did, and I put a lot in there, but I when he said that, you know, sometimes he needed his individual time, or if you said it, I was going to ask him, well, how does that make you feel, that like she don't want you or whatnot? No, we need, listen, it benefits you to give me a little bit of time by myself so I can center and come back and be that wonderful husband or wonderful wife. Cameron, go ahead.
Right. I think, you know, that's a learning curve. Yeah. It's really a learning curve, and nobody really talks about that as a learning curve. So, you know, there's moments where Ashley needs to go be Ashley, and there's moments where Cameron needs to go be Cameron, and that has to be normalized in marriages. It has to be, because, you know, for me, I'm very much so still a designer and creative, even as our Instagram has turned us into the fitness influencers. You know what I'm saying? That kind of is.
Actually, wait a minute, hold on. You now a fitness influencer, but may not have wanted to do it in the beginning with Cam. Right. But now you're a fitness info. Go ahead. Sorry, Cam. Go ahead.
Not even Cam. Cam never signed up for that either. Like, so I'm going on my page. I've had my little 1,700 followers for all this time. I've gone through at that point maybe 2 or 3 different clothing brands, and I'm just waiting to be the next Virgil. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting for like my next thing for somebody to just see it and be like, oh, that's it, and want to put, you know, funds behind it.
Yes, sir.
But what you about to say?
Oh, nothing.
I thought she had something to say. Good.
Y'all are dope, man. Go ahead.
So at some point, you know, I'm gonna shift it a little bit. It's gonna get a little bit kind of emotional. At some point, we have London we're trying to work on another baby, and we go on spring break and have our first miscarriage um, in Atlanta. Then we start working on another baby, and we go to Atlanta again and experience another miscarriage. They both happened in Atlanta,
No, the other one happened here, but it
but
was
we came from
yeah,
Atlanta. Okay, so we experienced those two miscarriages. I ran track in college and in high school, so fitness and working out is already part of my lifestyle anyway. So, but then I try to bring Ashley, and I'm watching her confidence is taking a hit.
Yep.
And I want to bring her in so she can start working out with me. We're working out in the gym, but we live in Florida, bro. So like, it's a different space.
Oh,
People,
trust me, I know.
come on, it's a different space. Like people go do all the artificial stuff that they do, and then they come to the gym basically naked, and it's like, okay, you doing the most, I'm trying to get my wife right, and this space just ain't really for us. So we start working out at the house, and I'm not gonna sit here, and I'll never lie to anybody and say that I planned for the success to go how it went, because
Bruh.
because
I
I
know. Go ahead.
I hated the thought of leaving my me time to go back to this. This is my me time. I'm going to share it with you because I love you and I want to see your confidence come back up. And now I get to my space of my me time, and now it don't even work with both of us. So now it's not even my space at all. So now I leave my space of my away time, and we're working out at the house. I discover the kettlebell. Just scrolling through Instagram, I start seeing people working out with a kettlebell individually, but they're usually people like lawyers or doctors who only have a little bit of time, so they could just do this at the space in their house. So I'm like, hey, this looks cool. I don't see any couples in this space. I definitely don't see any brown people in this space, except for one person I saw in there, and he inspired me. And then I was like, let's see what we could do with the kettlebell. Let's like we already had some. I didn't even know what it was called, but I had it at the house. We had two kettlebells at the house, and I didn't even know what they were called. They would just collect dust in the garage. So one day we picked them up, and I literally sat down and I waited for God to tell me, this is what you're gonna do with this kettlebell. And long story short, we went from 1,700 followers. We have over 100,000 followers now of people in a very short amount of time. This was just March of this year. I had 1,700 followers. I'm a teacher. I go on spring break with 1,700 followers. I come off of spring break with 20,000 followers. Within another 2 weeks, I have 50,000 followers. Within another month, I have, boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, we have 100,000 followers, and people are just coming to watch us work out with the kettlebell.
Mm.
It's not just watching me, because I always work out on my page, but it was the fact that I'm working out with Ashley and then watching her transition in
Yes.
real time.
Yep.
In real time. You're not seeing her dip off and do no fads or do no, nothing against anybody who does that, but it's just that's not for everybody. So if your cup of tea is I want to see it done the real way, that's what we served you. That's what we served you. And God just used me. Like it's been crazy. So now here I am. I want to shout out Felicia Hatcher, because she's the one that's Pharrell's CEO of his nonprofit Black Ambition. I was watching one of her speaking segments where she wanted to show you your different zones, your zone of genius, your zone of incompetency, and just like your different zones. And I realized that fashion was something that I was good at, but it wasn't my zone of genius.
Okay.
My zone of genius actually is fitness and coaching people in it. So once I was able to kind of shift lanes, like I'm always look like a fashionably hip person. Like there's nothing I could do to not be that, but this is my actual zone of genius. Once I shifted into that, everything else in our life shifted with it. Mm-hmm. And it just started moving very quickly. And I want everyone to be able to sit back and assess your life and look at what is it that you're good at, and what is it that you're so naturally great at that you don't even realize that you're good at it. That's actually what your thing is.
That I'll just say this to give Ashley some time as we get ready to I did not know it was 10:51 already. So that this platform was, I've always been good at running my mouth, opinionated, always have suggestions, whether unsolicited or not. You're gonna know what I'm thinking and why.
Yeah.
And so to have that ability, and similar to you, I just went live with my plan for like one day.
Yeah.
And 4.5 years later, we're still here and have the opportunity to bring and talk about sort of both of you have had these moments of individual destiny that have come together. The fact, Cameron, that you were so intricately involved at the foundation, not knowing that it would evolve into what this is today is just amazing. Ashley, as we get ready to wrap up, what has the journey been like just with you? Look at him every time. Yo, y'all are dope. There's some sisters watching today, and they're gonna clip it out and they're gonna go home and see every time that Jimmy asked him something, Cameron sat back and put it, why don't you do that to me?
Oh Lord.
Cameron, you're gonna cause the brothers just a little bit of grief. No, I'm messing. But no, I love it. I love it because it's just as soon as she gets ready to talk or whatever, you sit back and you're like, yeah, baby, go ahead.
Get that spotlight because you deserve it.
Oh, y'all are dope. What has the journey been like, and where do you see things going for you? And then of course, I need the website, and so folks can go follow you. We can add to this 100,000 of your followers and have folks follow and stay up and be encouraged and get the information and education that you all are putting out.
The journey has been, well, I'll say.
I know that laugh. Go ahead.
Get it real.
Listen, there's no way of getting around the work. That's what I can say. The journey in entrepreneurship, the journey in motherhood, the journey in wife, the journey in career woman, all of it, the journey in working out. And that's why I always say whenever I'm working out, the movement is mental, because, people think that people only can see that we're in the living room working out, but they don't see we sometimes have some of the hardest conversations on that mat. So we're watching sermons and crying in between sets or irritated with each other. Like, there's so much that goes on behind, but I think that is the same in every area. You run a business in entrepreneurship, and people see how much you bring in. They don't see how much you take home. They don't see how much you pay everybody. They don't see when everything's going up, how you're affected. They don't see how much you lose. Yeah. So if I can say anything about the journey is actually the journey. But I think people go on a journey thinking that they're supposed to get to this, that there's this destination and I'm going to always be. No, it's always going to be a journey. So the journey has been hard. It's been work and continuously, but it's worth it. It's work that's worth it, and it's productive work, not busy work. And I think that I had to learn that as a person throughout this journey, is how to make, how to have gratitude at each step, but also understand what productivity looks like versus being busy. Because in society, we often confuse the two.
Yeah. Bars. That's why you sit back and put your arm around her, because she gonna drop them bars. Come on now, stop playing with me.
Y'all are dope. Y'all make me hopeful for one day. I had something like this, Jesus. All right, we're going to get ready to wrap up. Ashley, if you can do me a favor in real time, if you look to the right, there's a box that says private chat. Can you put your website and IG in there? And I want to make sure that folks know where they can go follow you. Some of your followers are in here. I've never seen Keisha Johnson, so I presume that's some of your crowd there. Okay, Natalie is in the building.
That's some of our people.
Listen, you got folks over on Instagram.
Yeah, they're our people.
P Horn, man, that woke me up. Productivity versus why.
That's more of our people.
You got all your
every day.
I do want to apologize. I don't know if it's Catherine or someone else, but and this happens often. You may have forwarded the link for you all to log in. And while we were talking, I'm back in manager because folks was popping in here like this. I'm like, kick out.
No.
As long as we got the watch, I wanted
wrong link.
I wanted to apologize to folks that, may have seen me kicking them out, and that happens often. So we'll do better at telling folks, don't share the link. But I want to make sure that folks have the website. No, you're good. I want to make sure that folks have the website. I'm going to put it in the comments. And so it'll be hyper linked right there. And in, did I press a button instead of enter? There we go. In the comments right here, everyone, here is the actual link that you can go to and go to the website, get all the information about everything both Cameron and Ashley are doing. And then so this is who has popped on and followed me on IG. I feel special now because I seen it pop up. So for IG, now the first one is 9 piece. That is both of you. That's you can follow Cameron here and keep up with both of their fitness journeys. And then also you can follow the brand itself. I'm dealing with, okay, here we go. The brand itself, you can follow. Y'all you can follow both of them.
You silly girl. That is your at name.
I don't even know my at name.
Okay. I'm the marketing person, so
if you get to Cameron, he's gonna make sure that you get Ashley.
Everything.
But the other thing is you can get to both of them by That's Crazy Mental Health. And I mean, the branding and the thing on that is that's just ridiculous. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just to put it simply. I appreciate you all. Even though, you all, what you went through with London last night, we definitely send joy and healing her way. I got a whole mother's board in here that keeps me locked down in prayer. They add names and I don't know when they do it, but they pray and do their little prayer circle and whatnot. And so we'll add them and add her and add you all as well.
We appreciate that.
Absolutely. I don't know with whom I need to queue up to give the last word because Cameron can take us one way. Ashley can take us the other. Cameron, with all due Ashley, as you've been so deferent, given so much deference, and what the old folks used to call due benevolence to the wife. Ashley, I would ask you to give your closing statement, anything you want to say to the audience, and then Cameron, I'll ask you to close us out, which is probably going to include a whole bunch of love over there on Ashley. So we're covered either way.
You know it. Come on.
That's my closing statement on this mindful balance is.
We never really. I'm so sorry. We never even.
It's all good. That's how it happens. It's all
what we did. That's what we did today. Yes, ma'am.
Take it. But I guess to close it out, to every parent, every wife, husband, mom, dad, boyfriend, girlfriend, sister, brother, cousin, whatever role that you play, you matter. And I think when it concerns balance, just remember that you can only take care of everyone else as much as you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
And in this, society, that's kind of pushed to the side. But it is okay to take off our capes and to take care of ourselves so we can pour into others. That's really the truth in being mindful. So you guys matter.
That's tough.
I was getting ready to say Cam is going to have to really come with something real quick. So sorry, bro, because maybe I set you up a little bit. But come on, man. Come on, King.
That's tough. And I want to just make it really personal because this is my season of taking off my cape. And I would just like to, this is even kind of hard for me to say right now, but I recently went to go see a psychiatrist. So if you're on my social media, you're seeing I'm sharing my journey. And I would really encourage brothers, dads, uncles, grandpas, do not be afraid to go seek help when you know that you at the end of what you could normally handle. You know what I'm saying? I got to the end of that recently when I was able to see that I didn't have the same level of patience in my home with my wife, with my daughter, with the dog. Like when you get to that point, don't wait for an emergency. Go see somebody and get some help. It was a experience for me that was not normal, but I'm appreciative that I went on it. The journey, to go back to what Ashley said, that I'm currently on, I walked into the psych and left out with 4 prescriptions for different meds. And that's crazy. That's crazy. That's what nobody wants to feel. But when you need help, you need help. So if you need help, I'm trying to tell you, I went and did what I had to do. It's not forever. Maybe it's just a season that you're experiencing a chemical imbalance from a cycle from something that happened in your life. Yeah.
That I'll try to remember. And Anissa, if you're still on, please remind me. Along with Lacey's video, there was another video where we had a certified dietitian, nutritionist.
Oh,
And
yeah.
she talked about the correlation between some of the things that we get diagnosed as a mental health issue. Actually, if we had more appropriate amounts of the B complex, B12,
Right.
B6 and all of that,
Those
that
chemicals.
was the offset and gut health. And so I have to remember to get both of y'all those videos
Yeah.
to just affirm, and hopefully you get a couple of nuggets out of them. But it you know, there's the balance of psychopharmacology and trust within the system. But then also, Cam, I have to thank you, applaud, and appreciate your vulnerability, because we do talk about Black men and mental health in this space, and we talk about how important it is. And one of the major things that you said, and we know there's an innate thing in us that we know when we about to go ham.
You know, right? It's
Demeanor,
big.
you know when that demeanor is about to change. Take it back to the beginning.
Yeah.
You know when that demeanor is about to turn into a demon.
Yeah.
And so rather than get caught up in the system,
Right.
or rather, be put into a situation. Now, sometimes you might need a couple of days and away to reset.
Right.
But and I'm not talking about criminal. I'm talking about a psych, admission.
Right.
We know when we're getting to that point.
Yeah.
If I can be very transparent, there have been some times in my life where I've literally been standing in the middle of my place and I'm like, I want to break something.
Yeah.
Come on, right? I'll break everything in here right now. Yeah. Yeah.
So I appreciate y'all. You all have been a help, definitely, to the audience, to parents, to couples today, for folks that will go and watch. If you're watching the after watch now or just jumped in, you need to go back to the beginning and watch this. We spent a lot of time referring parents. We heard about London and her experience. We believe that she gonna wake up today and be back to wonderful theatrical self. It's about, Daddy, I want to go ride a bike.
Right.
We believe that. And when she go back to the doctor, they're going to say, okay, well, the tube fell out, but she's okay. And we don't have to put another one back in.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
So, all right, I'm going to get off of here because y'all talking to a backslidden preacher. So I'm going to get off of here, and we'll be in a whole different place. The mothers will be in the comments. Come on.
Come on. Don't give me a chance to shout. Because I do it.
Oh, Messiah. Thank you, Jesus.
Come on.
Don't
give me a chance to shout.
No, I appreciate y'all. I really do. Again, we have to follow up with the 2 videos, and also y'all hold some time in February for us, because I really need folks to see the journey and the story in a different atmosphere around talking about Black love and being real. Those spaces that y'all talked about, or we'll do where y'all comfortable, we'll dig a little bit deeper, because folks hearing, one, that other folks are dealing with it, and 2, picking up tools and things that they can apply to theirs, customize it according to what works for them. We can save Black marriages in here.
Yeah.
For real.
Yes.
All right. Now I'm going the opposite way, because some certain statements sometimes are followed up by, well, I'll just say that statement can be followed up by, in Jesus' name, amen. Rather than something else. But no, I appreciate y'all. Cam and Ashley, you both be encouraged. Cam, you set a great example for how men, especially during this time of what's going on in our country, how Black men protect their Black queens. And how, Ashley, you are rightfully a leader and a powerful queen, in every right in yourself. But seeing and please, if I don't want to be offensive with this word, I'm old school, but the submission and the dual, let me rephrase that, the partnership.
You saying it right. You saying it right.
You see, we don't want to have that.
You are.
Y'all get off of here. I appreciate y'all.
Right.
So today was very, very, very good for me and the audience, and we'll make sure that we get you both of those links from Lacey, and I think it was Ness Monet, who the nutritionist was. But thank both of you.
Thank you.
Go get some rest. And Ashley, go back and lay back down so you can sleep off the
medicine.
Come on, man. She had to knock me out special. She had to knock me out special in there.
You handled it. I don't know if it added to a little extra, humor today, but no, I'm messing. Y'all are too much. Get off of here. Thanks for ending us in Black Joy. That was perfect. Thank y'all. I appreciate
you so much. I can't wait to do this again with you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Cam, we need to bring you in on some of these men combos too.
Hey, we'll always keep it all the way 100. I'm very transparent. I'm comfortable.
Yes, sir.
You'll see with our story.
Yeah. Oh, I see it now. Yeah. So, all right. I appreciate y'all. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Listen, folks, if you had just jumped in, go back and watch the After Watch, because their energy and their relationship and everything that I observed from them, I'm tired. And y'all know that that's an indicator of a good interview. So we're going to get ready to wrap up this morning. Y'all know Java with Jimmy has been running over an hour the past few episodes. We want to keep you abreast of a few things. First thing is, tomorrow morning, we have the opportunity to speak with Terry T. Hawkins. He is the co-founder and CFO and CEO. He does a lot, of Dream Smart. And so we're continuing in the space of behavioral health and mental health today. On Wednesday, you will be stuck with just me. I'll be here with you on Wednesday with just Jimmy. And then on Thursday, we have the opportunity to speak with Sarah Busby. She is a senior publicist and founder of Be the Buzz Agency. Be the Buzz Agency. Let me get that together. So she's going to be with us. And then on Friday at 12 noon, we're going to speak with City Councilor Brian Worrell, who is the chair of the Ways and Means. He started the new RISE program and was a leader and advocate in some very much needed investments that the city council fought to have in the city budget this year. And so we're going to speak with him on Friday at 12 noon. Miss Teresa, good to see you in the room. Yes, I will eat and drink. Been doing better with that. Asia, good to see you in the room. I think we're going to be chilling or doing some stuff together soon. As a reminder, Anissa put out a post the other day. We are looking for what we're going to approach as sort of a per diem approach. We need some street team folks to help with promotions, some folks to go places with me at different events and whatnot. And so if you're interested in that, please email info@javawithjimmy.com and the team will get back in touch with you. Mama Java is letting y'all know that you get an hour and a half today. The net is in the room. She done popped up in here and didn't comment. Good to see that the net was in the room. And all of our guests that came to be a part and support both Cameron and Ashley, everybody that's listening and watching on Twitter. I'm still going to encourage you all to go and click that live and join the live chat so I know that you're here and you can participate and be a part of that conversation. So, Miss Teresa, you got a job, Jesus. I look. There's some, so I already got Black Java t-shirts. That's crazy. Anyway, speaking of Black Java, this Thursday night at 6 p.m., we will be at Southline, 135 Morrissey Boulevard. And I just realized I forgot an S in the Morrissey, so I gotta fix that. That's my fault. We're going to be at 135 Morrissey Boulevard at 6 p.m. for our new segment called Black Java, No Sugar, No Cream. And so we need you in the building. There's no registration beforehand. We're going to collect your information once you get there. But I have the opportunity on Thursday night. We're going to speak with Mike Dees, a powerful, huge, up and growing influencer in the city of Boston, about his opinion, collaboration he's also doing. We're going to speak with Miss Mofilla, who is a media personality in herself, an influencer and a host of Inside the Maze. Taylor Andre, we both used to be on radio together. Saw something the other day. She's thinking about going back to radio. And Dart Adams himself will be with us, an historian, an author, rap aficionado, a Boston, Roxbury historian, just good people that really understand Black culture and the Black experience, the Black excellence, the Black music, the Black food, all things Black, no sugar, no cream. And so we are doing that as we've always centered our Black stories, our Black success and everything like that. Asia, make sure you bring 2 or 3 people with you. Thank you for coming to the last one. We didn't advertise it as much. And at our first one, we had a Grammy Award winner, a Patriots player, and a banking executive that was with us as well. So if you missed that one, you can come out on Thursday. But it's important that Black stories, excellence, and voices this space is even more intentional about centering that with no sugar and no cream. And so please come out on Thursday. That's it for me this morning. It's 10:11 UCB folks. You all get an hour and a half. I also want to let you know that Eric from UCB is coming on Java with Jimmy very soon. And so you'll get to hear Ron Bell, dude. When I tell you, I'm not going to lie. I had a dream about you last night. We was at some event. I walked by, tapped you on your back. What's up, Ron? And you, hey man, good to see you. So Ron, good to see you in the building, brother. Blacker than black, blackety, Black Java, no sugar, no cream. We got the phone calls when Basic Black was canceled, which said, Jimmy, you're poised to step in that gap. And so as I said, we've always centered it, but there's a different type of intentionality with this particular brand of Black Java that will be taking place again this Thursday night at 6 p.m. at 135 Morrissey Boulevard. We want to also let you know that there will be a cash bar, networking, and some music. All right. So come out on Thursday at 6 o'clock and we'll see you guys then. Thank all of you for being here today. Again, Mother's Board, Sharon and Ma, please add London, Cameron, and Ashley to the prayer list. And I think that's it for me. Yep. I think that's it for me. No notes there on the phone. So we'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and we will speak with our wonderful Terry T. Hawkins as we get ready to continue the theme around mental health and behavioral health here in the Java Cafe. You guys have a wonderful day, and we will see you again tomorrow at 9. Great day all.